What up, Detroit?
What up, though?
It's your man, Keith Butler, and I'd like to welcome you to The Hook. I'm here again with my co-host, Jeffrey Lowe, our main man and sports analyst, Leland Stein, and
our sports aficionado.
Well, whatever you want to call him, and my daughter from Arizona, Tajah
Nice
Butler.
attitude.
How you doing, Jam?
I'm good. How's everybody else?
Yes.
Good.
Welcome to Michigan
Thank you.
from the great
Nice to
state
be home.
of Zona.
Yeah, she knows Michigan. She grew up here.
Oh,
So
yeah.
she just moved to Arizona, so it's not a welcome back. She ain't guest.
That's your daughter, man.
She's
Come
not
on.
guest, man. She grew up here. I know.
Okay.
I do
Guest
feel like a lot of
guests is her
change.
friends when they come in, and they've never been here.
Well,
That's a
And that's
guest.
how-
You are
5
a
minutes.
guest on the hook right now.
She's been here before,
Look at Jeff.
Yeah.
Bringing
Yeah.
it back.
but
Yeah.
I guess she can kind of qualify as a guest.
Yeah.
But we're here in the 60 studios as always, doing our outdoor version where we're underneath the tarp looking at the golfers and this beautiful sunshiny
Man,
day,
yeah,
boys.
yes.
And young lady.
Can I say one thing, though? Just one thing.
Can I stop you?
No. Yeah, you can. I'll wait till you finish.
No, I'm done. Go ahead, man. You just cut me
I
off.
just want to say this is one of the best studios in Detroit, Michigan.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Hey, this is super, man. I'm loving this being out. Oh man, this is great.
Okay, now you kissed
All right, go
enough
ahead.
behind
Wait a minute. You don't
for
like
that
it?
Uncle Nearest.
You don't,
Now he's trying to come out because he'll never do this. All of a sudden,
That-
he
no,
just went full blown.
I haven't
no,
even had
he
a sip yet,
does.
man.
no, he
See how
does. He
you
does
did
like
it?
it out
That
here.
ain't right.
He does like it out here. He said that before.
I said it before.
Yeah,
See
he
that?
said-
No, but he was going on full bore.
But you know what? Ladies and gentlemen, every now and then we make a toast to the show, The Hook, and we like to sample a little bit something here and there. But Jeff was in one of his moments where he needed a little sip of Uncle Nearest.
All right,
And so Jeff and Stein got a little Uncle Nearest. I got myself a little Crown Royal Apple, and my daughter's got a little bit of what with it?
Oh, Disaronno.
Disaronno.
The Serrano.
So
I've never had that before.
Delicious.
Before it's a pretty sweet
my
little.
It's a
nephew love that
liqueur,
Crown Rule.
So before we get going, we're gonna do a little toast here for the show. All right, and we're gonna tip it back. Oh, sorry, Jeff. Did I get you started?
No.
All right.
Okay,
all
so
right.
we've toasted around the table, the four of us, and we're gonna tip it up here and get the show started. So, boys, ladies, let's tip it back. That Crown Royal is pretty tasty. Jeanette, you took that like a champ.
Because I am.
You took that back like a champ. She had like a three-shotter.
I was going to say, y'all took some lady shots, actually.
Wow. Wow.
I was just going to put it out there.
Wow.
You brought out double shot glasses.
That was a
The
triple shot.
But I'm
Hold on.
saying,
Stein.
you brought out
Stein.
double, triple shot glasses. And
Stein,
gonna take
you're
these
reading.
little-
Stop reading it, Stein,
Why? I just want to say
and pour it. Don't just read it. Pour it.
It's really smooth. It's
Yeah.
really
Is it?
You've never had that before?
I've never had this
It's
before.
It's pretty
You
good.
can't mix it.
It is.
it's very sweet. It's an amaretto.
I'm just gonna taste a little bit.
Yeah.
'cause
You're going to like it. You're going to like it. Yeah. Just,
You've had it before, Keith?
Yeah, a little bit of
Okay.
it.
Well,
Obviously.
what is this called?
It's an Italian.
Disaronno.
Disaronno.
Yeah, just pour it.
That's not Italian.
It
It's,
is.
No, it's German.
German?
No.
it's
I was going to say, no, it's Italian.
I just
That's
read
what I
it.
told
See,
you.
that's
It's
why you
Italian.
read. You
Yeah.
get information.
Everybody told him it's
Right.
Italian. He said it's not Italian, so it's German. Okay, will that make you happy?
Thank you,
That's
thank you, Stein.
Oh, yes, sir, yes.
Reading is fundamental.
Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Ask me
Keith.
why was I
Thank you very much.
Reading
Thank
is
Go ahead and
fundamental.
Thank you very
try
much.
it.
Okay,
Go
I'm
ahead
going
and
to
try it.
Go ahead.
Yes.
liqueur. I'm not really a liqueur.
Take a
person.
sip, man.
What?
I got a
I'm taking
bowl
a sip
tonight,
right
so-
now.
No, go ahead.
Well, is it sweet and stuff like that?
It's very sweet. I normally make a drink of it like you can make a pineapple
Don't
upside
like it?
down cake.
Oh yeah, pound cake.
Pineapple upside down cake. So like if you take some Disaronno, you take some pineapple juice, something like Grand Marnier or some actual maraschino cherry juice, things like that. You mix it up and it basically tastes like you're drinking pineapple upside down cake.
But you can put this in pound cake too, can't you?
you could put it in anything you
Put it
like.
in anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can put it in a whole lot.
Ain't
of
no
things.
boundary to
This
cook
tastes
it no
good.
more.
Oh, it's delicious.
This tastes good
It's a
in a
beautiful
cake. I
thing.
bet.
It's
It
delicious.
tastes good in a glass too, doesn't it?
Damn right. You
yeah.
damn.
You like it?
Yes.
Yes.
It's-
Little sweet, but heavy on this
That
shit.
just
sweet.
made me think of cooking. Am I right? Do you cook?
I do.
Oh man, cooking no
Do you
boundaries
cook?
nowadays. Do it.
No
It's kind of fun. You can put your twist,
Oh,
because I learned my greens and macaroni and cheese from my mom and them, but then I put my own little seasoning.
Do you
my
have
own
to
little
do
stuff.
pork in your green?
No, I use turkey.
Yes.
Smoked turkey
There
leg.
it is. There it is.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we
Well,
are
he
now
might put
on a-
hot dog
But I put
in his
peppers
macaroni
and
and
onions.
cheese.
We've gone to a
No,
cooking show,
yeah.
ladies
Yeah.
and
It's
gentlemen.
just,
You don't put hot dogs in your
surprisingly
macaroni and
insane.
cheese.
That's
do
the
you?
does
only way to
that?
come up with
Huh?
that.
Nobody puts hot dogs in their macaroni and cheese.
I heard
I
that
ain't never
today.
heard
I
that.
heard.
Who?
From who?
He just made it up.
No, I didn't make it
Somebody
up.
on internet doing
Hey,
something
No, it
yeah.
was on TV. Well,
This is-
Dan Orlowski said some crazy
This
stuff.
is his Trump moment. You know, Trump just makes up stuff. He's just making. He don't fell into a
Trump
Trump.
say the Haitians dogs.
They're eating.
Oh, in a debate,
Whatever.
he
Trump,
went to the dog
Trump
thing,
said.
man.
Trump said Tyler Swift endorsed him.
Taylor.
Taylor. Yeah. Well, I can't.
Tyler.
Tyler
I'm
Taylor.
about to say
Who
Tyler's
is
gonna
that?
be home
Taylor
too.
Swift.
Yeah.
He said she endorsed
Is he
him.
born
He
yet?
said
He's not born.
everybody endorses him, and then turns around
He said
and
the
finds out.
Teamsters endorsing.
And then finds out
They
that
just
nobody
lie so much, it's insane.
endorses. Yeah, that's
It's
what
just
he
hard to
does.
believe there's people that really listen to him.
You know, he does it with his little pucky lips. He gets those pucky lips. And he does his hands.
See,
And
these are the moments
his hands
that you
go
do
like
kind
this
of wish
all
you
the
had a
time.
camera for the
His
podcast.
hair all
You need to
messed
see the
up.
whole
So-
thing.
Yeah,
How could you elect somebody
visualization.
with hair like that? That's bad enough
I
right
don't
there.
care
That you
about your
have
hair.
literally
No,
seen.
we got to link. Come on, I don't
Just-
care about hair neither. But
Look,
you can't do that,
Listen,
man. That's
Richard
a whole
Nixon.
other thing.
Richard Nixon was one of the goofiest looking presidents we ever
Yeah,
had.
well,
He
hair
got
wasn't like
elected.
that. Yeah.
He got elected. So looks don't matter. It's
Looks
what you're
always
talking
matter.
about. Yeah, optics help. Optics help.
It
That's
couldn't
how
have helped
Kennedy
with most
beat.
of 'em.
That's how Kennedy beat Nixon.
Well, you know
But-
what? You know what
He's
got me?
smart too, though. Kenny was smart.
Here's
He's
a guy
war
that gets
veteran.
his
Kennedy had the mob behind
ear
him, too.
freaking
Well,
shot
he's a
off
war
damn
veteran.
near.
He's a lawyer. He did the things he had to do.
Who did?
I said
Kennedy.
he gets his ear damn near shot off.
Who? Trump.
Dump's ass.
Oh,
Trump's
Bring
ass.
that up.
That did not
And
happen.
now
I'm-
I don't believe it happened either, because then they put up a photo. They put up a photo of Mike Tyson. Now, your ear's really missing when you get your ear bit off. Now he got his ear damn near shot off, and it was a whole ear. I'm like, wait a
But
minute.
wait, see, but that's, maybe it happened, but you got to think it stays sometimes because he started selling
Of course it stayed.
posters with him with his fists up in the air, the little blood on his ears.
Of
When
course
you
it
see
was
these
staged.
things, you're going, what president is a huckster? Everything that happened, he sold tennis shoes, trying to sell steaks.
Ugly
I mean, it's
When
just
you
so
are
retarded.
losing,
ugly.
I
when
mean,
you
it's
are
just
when
one
you are
thing after
losing,
the other, man.
you're
Come on.
scared of the loss. You can't keep up with the competition. You're drowning in stupidity. You would do anything you can to boost your ratings. So he got. There was a second assassination attempt. I mean, how many presidents have been shot at twice? I don't know, maybe a couple.
There has been.
There have been a few.
Yeah,
There's
it has
been-
Ford,
happened.
for sure.
Well,
yeah,
Ford
they
got
just-
shot
This
at
was
I mean,
twice.
shot
before
at multiple
Secret
times.
Service and CIA got into the picture. I know that.
But
Hey,
okay, maybe his ear was injured somehow.
Ear wasn't injured.
Okay,
You know
because there
that.
was
he had a
something-
full ear in this
There
photo.
was something that looked more like blood by his actual ear, but what that big stain on his shirt would look like?
Is this after the first assassination?
The first one. What the stain on his shirt looked like my grandmother always writes in her bed with highlighters and markers and pens like that, and sometimes she'll leave the cap off and it'll stain and leak. That's what it looked like. It looked like a red marker just stained his shirt. That did not look like. It didn't even look like good movie or TV blood to me. I'm sorry.
Bad
It was
CG.
Weird. How could the bullet hit your ear
and
and not hit
and then it wasn't
at all?
it wasn't a trail. It was
I mean,
just a
come
spot.
on, man.
Where'd the spot just come from? It wasn't like a trail of blood that leaked down. It was just like a spot.
But
you
they
know-
said nothing about the
Well, they
the
shot the guy.
bystanders
Yeah,
that were.
somebody got shot too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but have you
So
heard
that's why
anything else
You
about
want
him
to believe it?
since?
Somebody else got shot.
No, I heard about it a couple of days afterwards.
And that was it.
it.
That was
That
it.
was it.
No,
You know,
it's
and-
just
They didn't never bring up the person that got shot. The other person.
They didn't show
I
a
mean, not
photo. They
really.
didn't show
It
nothing.
didn't have much
think
coverage.
I think they showed a photo.
They showed
of
a pho-
him.
I didn't see a photo, okay.
Because he was a family man, and I think he had a wife and a son or a daughter. Well, one or the other. But they showed him. I think they showed him once, but that was it. So there wasn't a whole lot of discussion about the victim who was shot. But that's why I always thought it was set up. It took him a long time to go down. It took the Secret Service to get a long time to get up there. And this is the first one. And he was down a long time.
So you think they
and he's
killed
talking
somebody?
about
It ain't beyond them, is it?
no,
Of course
no.
not.
Because look,
No.
any party like the Republicans
That's not beyond.
kept seeming on a dress for a year and a half.
on,
You gotta. Who does that?
Come on, man.
Democrats saving kids and hugging whales and trying to get people jobs. These people doing shit like. I'm sorry, they doing
No, you
stuff
fine.
like that.
You fine.
I mean, really, it's mind-boggling, isn't it?
'Cause
They
It
really.
doesn't- it
So
doesn't
to the
surprise me.
level that they would go to. And look how he
I'm
talks
not
about her. He said she's uneducated, telling all her followers at his rallies. Have y'all seen the clip? He's calling her
those things
uneducated,
look like a-
stupid. He
His
says
rallies,
this stuff.
his rallies look like an old Tiger stadium, Tiger game with the stadium. You got about 5 people here, about 3,500 empty seats, about 10. That's what his rallies look like.
But you know what?
They're the biggest rallies ever.
Oh, right.
You know?
Always the biggest
But,
rally.
you know,
But what
Everything
class?
with him
Oh,
is
dude.
hyperbole.
What class
Super
for the
hyperbole.
future Madam President of the United States, Kamala Harris, makes a phone call and says, "Are you okay?"
that's class.
Class.
That's class.
He
And,
can't
The
even
fact that
spell
she walked
class.
across her,
How you
walked
gonna show
across
it?
the
And
stage
shook
and
his-
extended her
and-
hand in the handshake.
yeah,
Because that was the
class.
very first time they met, and he didn't know what to do with it. He was flustered just from
That
that.
because she
Right.
walked up to
Yes,
him.
but she-
Right.
he was like,
She's like, oh, this woman walked
Right.
over me.
She
Right.
walked
Beat,
up
me,
straight
beat him
forward.
to the stage.
Yeah,
Yes,
and the crazy
went
thing,
to him. You know, it wasn't like bring you to me, meet me halfway.
Yeah.
I'm coming to you. Shake
Yeah.
my hand, know my
and
name.
you,
see
Right.
my
you see
face.
how he looked. He was off put. He was, he was put off when she did it, and it did a couple of things. It showed integrity, showed class, and it said, "I'm not afraid."
I'm
of
not
you."
afraid.
Right.
Of you. You don't
you
intimidate.
don't-
Well, that's the way he
intimidate
treated the black women at the NAJB.
Well,
Well,
I mean,
after what he
I've
said,
never seen nothing like that in the history
but they handled
of
it.
journalism.
They handled
But
it.
he kept saying, going back to the sister, Scott kept saying, well, look at her. She worked for fake news, and you were so
everything-
mean.
everything
so
other
he
than
never
his-
answered the question. He just kept digging at her.
But we all know that's Trump's thing. Trump never addresses the
Well,
question.
how can any black person vote for him after seeing that?
Well, I tell like I tell
well,
people
if
all
I'm
the
somebody
time,
paid,
help me
if
with
I'm
that.
if I'm paid to sit
gotta have
behind
somebody
somebody,
believe in.
if I'm paid to sit
know?
behind somebody and just look like
that,
I'm
but you ain't gotta
supporting-
vote for him.
I don't
Just
think
take the
I don't
money.
think any of those people. I just can't believe that any of those people, those black people, those black faces
Or
who sit behind
the
him,
Latino faces.
or whatever
faces
national,
of color.
right, faces of color that sit behind him in those rallies.
I can't believe half the white
I
people
can't
sit
believe
behind him.
I
Yeah,
can't
Look,
I don't know how
he even
anybody
said
is
at the
doing it.
NAJB that the Mexicans coming across the border is taking all the black jobs.
Yeah.
A black job.
and
and
what
everybody,
is a black
and
job?
it was at
What's
a
a
black
black
meeting with all the
job?
black, everybody went,
But guess what?
Did you see that, Butler?
But guess-
the whole
but guess-
crowd just like, what?
But guess what?
So tell me what a black job is. We can
No,
let you answer that.
hey,
What's a black job?
Well, I'm gonna
That's
tell you what black
exactly-
They
job
was
is.
talking about the
Be.
Mexicans coming to the border working in the fields and the hotels.
I'm gonna tell you what a
He
black
talking
job is.
black
What you say?
job.
The United States
Right.
presidency.
The black job is the United States
States
president.
Thank you very much.
Very
Well,
That's
hey,
what it's gonna be
oh,
again.
did
Come
Miss
on.
O- did-
He
did-
don't understand
did
that,
Miss
do he?
Obama straighten him out when she said that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She said, that might be one of the black jobs.
Yeah.
you trying to get one of the black jobs.
Right.
But Barbara is the bomb, man.
I mean,
I love her.
I don't know. It's definitely a different situation currently, and no matter what is being discussed, if it's going against whatever he's made up in his mind, then it's going to be fake news. You're against him.
You're a liar.
You're stupid. You're not. And
You're gonna
it's like-
steal the election.
and kind of bringing things full circle that haven't actually been put on the actual podcast, but because he doesn't necessarily have a lot of things to discuss, in my opinion, or ways to actually discuss things, and it's like, he's not swearing, but all he can say is, well, you're stupid and you don't like me,
Oh, that's
and so
right.
you're not important, and
That's
that's just
right.
that's his de facto default go to.
That's
It's
what
like,
he go
I'm going
to
to be
every time.
insulting. I'm just going to figure out a way to
How could you
insult
be
you.
the president and insult people?
How could he be the president and do a
insane.
lot of things?
No,
Wait,
you're right. You're
wait,
right.
wait. Take all that off the end and just say, how can he be president?
Yes.
How can he be president?
But
You
he's-
know?
he's
Well,
always
okay, that's a
been-
good question.
Because people have to have somebody to believe in, and as much as I hate to say it, white America needs to feel superior. Old GOPs, the older white men. Listen how they talk about the women. Vance is telling women, you need to stay in the kitchen.
Oh, childless cat lady.
Yeah, you need.
That
that's what
was
you gonna
just
be.
brutal, wasn't it?
And people are
So you
listening
shouldn't
to
even
that.
vote or something. He
People
went to
are
the dark
listening
age.
to that. Women are listening to
Yeah.
that and agreeing with that crap.
And
So
I just
you
don't
got
understand.
a
What
couple
What
choices.
is
kind
weird,
of
isn't
women,
it? That's
what
weird.
kind of women are listening to that and agreeing?
They
with
men got
I
them
don't-
under
I
their
don't think
thumb.
Yeah.
Your,
They're
da-
afraid
your,
to
your
vote
daughter
that.
is a woman.
They
And I
about
don't
to
think
do
she's
that.
listening to that crap.
Well,
Well-
let me rephrase it. Crazy women are listening to that. now.
Okay.
Women who have low self-esteem. Women who were trained to believe that men
Exactly.
are superior.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You know,
but it's a little bit
she
too.
wasn't trained to believe that.
Wait,
Right.
Well, you're right, but it's part of like being in a rural community across America. There's no black folk.
Yeah.
That's true.
How
That's
lying, just all across America. Everywhere we went to Utah, and I was like, oh, ain't no black folk around here. But
And it blows
everywhere
my
you go,
mind.
so they don't know no better.
But then,
Them
after,
people-
but then it's like, okay, you get to a point of, okay, you don't know any better, but did you ever want to know better? That's the other point.
Well, no,
Did you ever
'cause
want to
everybody
try
just-
to get out of that
That's
little
true.
box you live in?
That's true.
Because my whole thing is, a lot of times, at least in my experience, I keep meeting people who, because they see us in the same room or the same place, they think it was the exact same path to get there. And I had to explain that to somebody the other day, and it's like, you know, because they're like, well, you know, there's black people who are at my work, there's black people who live on my block, and it's like, okay, but 9 times out of 10, how that black person got into that job or into that house or anything else wasn't along the same lines that you got there.
Well, they try to belittle us and tell
And they
us
act
we
like it's
got
all
there
in our
because of
mind.
DEI. Or for that's only every black person of power. That's how they got there.
Well, I had a friend of mine.
But it's like,
I mean, that's what
however
the
we
side
got-
of the fence is saying. It's
But
insane.
the problem for me is, however you get there, why do you act like I don't deserve
That's
to
right.
be there.
That's
Yeah.
right.
No matter how I got here, why do you act like I don't deserve to be here just as much as you standing here? I haven't told you you shouldn't be here. And you have made it up in your mind you belong here when you know, like, in history, you stole it, you lied, you infiltrated it,
You murdered for
it, you slaughtered, you
Huh?
were the savage.
Brutalized.
You know what I mean?
Woo,
But
woo.
you
we
say
about- we
somebody
about
else
to-
Oh
shouldn't
my
be
God.
here.
Yes.
We about to have church up here. She acting like her grandmother.
Yeah.
Preaching.
Stuff get on my nerves.
Go on, Reverend Butler.
Stuff get
tell.
on my nerves.
Go
Yeah.
on, Reverend Butler.
It's cool.
Grandpa's girl.
Hey, hey, I love it. I love it. You are preaching to the choir, and you are absolutely correct
Yeah, and
about
and
that.
the solution to all that is like teaching school. The years I've done, 20-some years. The fact of the matter is, if people in these rural areas, if they're not being taught, then they're gonna get all the images from the culture, and the culture divides us immensely. I mean, and it's such a horrible way, especially with the internet going. It's been the first attempt at just free speech in American history, where anybody can say anything now. Nothing got to be true. So how do you find truth? Is where we got to get to, and that's
That's
been
a
the
good
most
question.
difficult
Very,
thing
very good
that we
question.
got to deal with in this new internet era. Because a guy like Trump couldn't have made it in the other era. Because
Yeah.
all the bull crap he's saying wouldn't have got across the airways. 'Cause there was only 3 channels. ABC, NBC.
What we're
and they
doing-
really was monitoring dog doodle. You couldn't just
Right.
say anything. But once all those walls got broke down, we call it the gatekeeper walls.
Yeah.
In journalism, which is the editors, and anybody could do anything. Now you got people like Rogan and anybody just get 2 million voters, and people see. My last thing before I turn this over, I think you talked about the European culture. They have always believed in idolatry, and that's who they are: the kings, the queens, the monarchs. Even to this day, that whole Western European thing has been founded on that. So a lot of them came over here, but they never lost that nonsense. Because how else can you explain people wearing Trump's shirt with his face on it and him not ever being wrong about anything?
But people would
That's
say-
idolatry and cult.
But people would turn
It's
around
a cult.
and
It
say,
ain't even don't even make sense
but people
anymore.
would turn around and say, how can you vote for Kamala Harris?
They
you
will.
know, I mean, the thing is, to us, they're wrong. To them, we're wrong. And, you know,
That's
that's the
because we
problem
ain't
with it.
educated. We don't know.
It's
But they're educated to some degree, because even if it's a racist education, it's still you're being taught something.
You been right.
So
Right.
it's not. Well, I'm not talking about formal education in
Because that
schools
is a
and stuff
taught
like
Well,
that.
look,
It's
look.
a taught
When
thing.
someone
That's
rises to
education.
the level of, just think the president candidate Vance. Now, like you said about education and his rise to wherever he got it through education. He went through an educational process, and he still turned out to be on that side that said that makes you scratch your head.
Yeah, but you have to consider that a lot of these people who think like this were born in a different era.
taught
Okay,
a different
you
way,
would-
shown
right.
different books,
You know,
given a different
That's the whole
example.
point.
Different school
no,
system.
no doubt about it.
Didn't go to a
Their
public school.
Their school
Hey.
book said, Tom, what was it? What was Mark Twain's book, Huckleberry Finn,
Huckleberry Finn.
where it had how many the N word
Oh, I
was in there?
forgot what it was. What was it?
Some 700.
I forget.
I know, it was
I forget
unbelievable.
how
That
Yeah.
was a book that they read in school.
Yes.
Okay,
Unbelievable.
And then
they
there was
read
that
this
point,
in school.
There was at some point where the books had it as if
He's
you know,
one of
they
the
were
great
happy
writers of all
out
time, Mark
in the
Twain.
field. The
American
slaves were
history.
happy out in the field, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
sang their songs because they were happy out there. And it's just if you're when you want to look at something a certain way, that's part of how our algorithms happen in
Right.
the first place,
Yes, it
especially
is.
currently.
Yes.
When you want to see it that way in the
Right.
first place, that's how it's going to come through to you.
Yeah.
And so, as being that they need to hold on to that whole superiority situation, they are easily going to adapt to anything that's going to keep them there,
That's it. That's
regardless
right.
of how insane it is.
Yeah. But see, we can keep saying it's insane, but when you ignorant, and I really learned that when you ain't been exposed and you don't know no better, all you see on TV is Lil Wayne and some little brothers running around fighting and acting crazy and cussing all the time. And you in Lyon, Michigan and Howell and Traverse City, that's how you going to look at them, especially as a kid. And then you got somebody like Trump adding the fuel to the fire, calling everybody ignorant and dumb, and that's the hardest part, too, about, like you talk about those women, to get them over, at least some of them, because if you're in these rural towns and your husband is one of them guys,
Yeah.
you can't step out there unless you're ready to get beat up.
Yeah,
So they can't come out.
and that's like what my sister
So it's a
said.
lot of that
Stepford
peer
wives.
pressure
And that's
in
what
that white community.
That's one of the things my sister said about J.D. Vance's wife. He said
She's Indian.
well, he said, he said he loves his wife even though she's not white. And then when he says
That's
that
so
women,
retarded, ain't
when
it?
he says
You
that
say
women
it.
belong in the kitchen, they should be cat women and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
My sister said, and the women who follow that, and the reason he was able to say that is because he's the kind of guy who probably beats his wife. And a woman who accepts that is probably a woman who's under mental, if not physical, abuse. And for her to stand there, she's a lawyer or something, and her mother is like a doctor. I mean, they are prominent ladies. I can't remember what. They're not sit-at-home moms. They're not ignorant. They're educated. And for them to sit there and listen to this man, son-in-law and husband, say this about women, which includes
I
them.
know. And take their right away of choice. How could any woman in the 20th some century want some old white men telling them that you got to have a kid that you don't want, and if you don't take care of him, they're going to put him in jail or beat him up or incarcerate him. They ain't going to help them. They don't want to spend no social money on social product for the kids that they claim they all want so badly. They scream all that because it's just political nonsense. Because they don't care about them kids enough to jump in there and start adopting them, putting in programs to help all these single family kids. See, that's where the
It's
proof
always
is.
the first thing
They
can
just
go
bring
in
it
the first
up.
place. Because for some reason, there's never a problem to fund the wars.
Never.
Or a few years ago, I was watching TV in the afternoon, and I, thank goodness that you can pause TV now. Because it flashed, you can rewind and pause TV because it flashed past the screen and I just completely thought I was in denial. I completely thought it wasn't real. But in the midday news, something came across the screen about them spending upwards to $360 something $1,000 plus whatever on quail sex on cocaine.
What is this?
Quail sex on cocaine.
What?
Yeah.
What's quail sex on cocaine?
Good question.
Yeah, what is it?
And 9 times out of 10, the person who decided to come up with it was on cocaine to begin
Wait,
with.
they're not talking about the quail bird.
Yes.
The bird?
Oh,
Yes. Not
Dan
Dan.
quail.
Not Dan quail. Quail birds.
Oh,
So
what?
they're drugging quails.
Listen.
Jeanette, explain this,
Listen,
please.
like I said.
Yeah, you have to explain
Like
that.
I
that's
said.
almost getting into the Trump dog thing almost a little bit.
No, hold on.
No,
Stein, I
because
need to hear
this is an
this.
actual thing.
She's
I
talking
need
about
to hear
quails.
this.
This was on the middle of the.
You
like I
talking about
said,
an
a
animal,
few
right? You
years-
talking about an animal.
Yes,
quail.
the actual
Ain't
little bird.
quail.
The little bird.
Wait a minute, I need to hear this. Jeanette, please explain this.
Okay. Like I said, I'm not well versed in it like that, but this was on the midday news. This was like, because I watch daytime stories.
Yeah.
So in the
Not
middle of my
Fox.
daytime
Oh,
story.
hope you didn't watch
no,
Fox.
no,
Okay.
no.
All right.
Anyhow, midday news. Like I said, thankfully you can rewind and pause television and stuff like that now. Because when I saw it go past, I was like, that couldn't have been what it said. but it was like a poster board in one of the Congress rooms or whatever, and they said, you know, there's like, it was like 360 something thousand whatever dollars that went to the study of quail sex on cocaine. And so I tried to find as much information on it as I could, because I said, well, maybe somehow this is going to lead to a cure for cancer or autism or something of importance. And I couldn't find anything on it except that they kept funding these, you know, sending all this stuff out to find it out, and they were actually
doing studies on this.
They were getting them high and, you know, getting them together or whatever. But
Who
I never
said that?
understood.
On the news?
It was on the news. Like I said, it was just on the midday
And you
news.
couldn't find it nowhere else?
Go on. Don't even worry about it now.
but
Look it
like I
up
said,
later. I'm sure you can find it somewhere.
It was years ago. But it's just the thing of what I'm saying is how they can find ways to allocate money for the most foolish of things.
Oh, yeah.
But when it's like, you know, you have children going to school and they can get a free lunch, and then this country is extremely wasteful, and we throw away just disgusting amounts of food every day.
Senators, pause for 1 second.
You're so silly.
Quail sex on cocaine. We need funding for that.
Yes.
We need to see what's going on.
Yes.
Yeah, don't worry about the toilet tissue.
Don't
and-
worry
and
about
school
any of
and
that.
The
papers
toilet
or
paper.
pencils.
No.
Back
School.
there.
We want to know what's going on with quail sex and cocaine.
And I still don't understand.
No,
what
thank
you,
that
Senator.
Jeff, you can be a
You
little
had the
bit
floor.
more-
I
You're
just-
right about that now.
What's
I
that?
don't know.
Honestly, they're doing something, even if it's got to be some scientific thing to it.
I mean, it has to
Scientific.
They're
be.
going to use the quails instead of using humans, okay?
I mean, it had to be, but
Yeah,
for
but I
me,
don't get
it's just
that,
like
man.
for what?
You know,
You know,
of all
because
the-
I'm
Quails
trying,
have
okay?
nose?
I'm
Do they have a
trying real
nose?
hard.
Listen. How they got the cocaine in the quail? All that. I don't know.
No, but I do
Listen,
get your
didn't
point,
very-
though.
Like I said,
the
for
point
me,
is-
the point was,
Yeah.
how are you able to fund
Fund
that?
these things when you can't
But you
take care of
can't
your kids.
feed these children that you care so much
Exactly.
about.
Right, we can't give
Like
free
at school,
lunches.
Everybody should have
Validated.
free lunch.
Past
And validate.
Everybody in the
past the
city.
uterus,
Or any kid
you
should have
don't
free
give a
lunch.
damn about these kids.
No, they don't.
Period.
They
You
don't.
don't care. You're
That's
not trying
why
to
that-
educate them. You're not trying to keep them healthy. You're
The
not trying to
abortion
forge
thing-
healthy relationships in the household because both parents have to work and send their children out to somebody else. So you're not caring about any of the actual things that would matter
Except
for children
for quail
to be
sex.
worthwhile people.
Stupid, Jeff.
To grow. Because see, other thing about it is, you'll get. It's perfectly okay for me to say, yes, you can go ahead and have this baby, but you know you're not gonna get any help. You have to entertain to go to work. But then we want to take that baby from you. So it's like I'm not supposed to be able to choose if I want to have a baby or not. But then you get to decide as
Yeah.
the government
Oh, she's a
that
bad
you gonna
mother.
come and take my baby
Of course.
and draft them and send them
Right.
off to your wards, and they don't even know. Matter of fact, that's a whole nother thing. They don't normally even know what they're fighting for, why they're getting dropped off down there. They get dropped off in the middle of sand and be like just told to shoot this way. They don't even know what they're doing out there. I literally met soldiers where I saw the explosions on their body. It was heartbreaking. These men didn't have their regular knees no more. They went in whole-bodied, healthy people. Now they got shrapnel in their back, explosion burns across their body, no knees.
Were you in the military at one time?
No. I just happened to be on a bus going across the country to come back home one time, and me and
War
my
is not
kids
pretty.
took Greyhound. And I
Yeah,
was
I
on the
got
bus
some
with a group of
stories there.
soldiers.
Yeah.
And these men were just sitting there just lost. Because they're like, my family is in shambles. I don't know what I'm going home to. I don't have my health care
And
things
the
set
government
up. And they dropped us in the
didn't
middle of
help 'em, the
nowhere and
veterans
told
much.
us to just shoot. This one man was telling me a story about how he had to make the decision not to kill a child who had just killed his right hand, the man next to him. But he was like, I couldn't bring myself to kill the child, so I just hit him in the head to knock him out and kept pushing. But he had killed the man next to me, but I couldn't bring myself to kill this child who was shooting at me. So you're a trained soldier, and you're running around killing kids who are, as far as I'm concerned, probably just trying to defend themselves at this point because you're just, what are you doing over there?
Well, that's a war.
You don't even have anything
There
over
are
there.
no real rules in war because there's always casualties outside of the soldiers.
Well, there
'Cause
is
they
the
fought
Geneva
in
Convention.
error. Well, they try to come up with rules, but the fact when soldiers are out there, like she said, that's a whole nother ball game. But the point, though,
soldiers,
is
a child
that,
is not a soldier.
but beyond the soldiers, the point is the money has never really been allocated educationally
No.
to do the things to do to include everybody in this process so that we all could be flowing a little better. They've been stealing the money from the inner cities forever. All the inner cities across America, all the minorities got like a noose around them because that's where they are, and they just squeeze you, You know, I've taught in the schools, they squeeze the money so hard, but it's just how it is. But we had to struggle and get through it. Then they make SAT tests, the things that Thompson and Cheney and them enlist me to help them fight, because they were using that to eliminate all our kids, so they couldn't put on that guys or amateurism.
Was it biased?
Yeah, it was horrifying, because it can't measure your ability to go study longer. You know, like me, when I got caught and decided to do engineering, I had to start hanging out with the boys and had to study. But see, the test didn't measure me going over there and getting in study groups and putting in extra work. If you're willing to do those things, sometimes you can still elevate yourself without being like an A student.
Right.
You know, getting everything easy,
But
and it just goes through you.
anyway. Everything's not cookie cutter anyway.
No.
However, you learn to be an
That's
engineer
right.
may not be how my cousin, who's an engineer, learned how to be an
Yep.
engineer.
That's right.
It might have been very simple for him. All he had to do was,
Right.
you know, do some flashcards or whatever, and he had it. You may have had to sit there and cram and put it all in because no one learns the same.
No.
My
Right.
children, like, I
But my
remember being-
exposure too, growing up, it matters, because they wouldn't use words like regatta. And my dad wasn't sitting down. He's a footballer. He wasn't sitting down doing math equations with me like my son doing with his boy now. You
Well,
know.
this is a whole new math in
Yeah.
person. I don't know what this math
But
is.
I didn't grow
I
up
used to
in
think
none
I
of
knew
that.
how to do math. I don't know what this stuff is. But
It's out there, isn't it? Woo.
but it's a different situation how it's portrayed, because I used to remember when I was in high school, I would have, you know, classmates or schoolmates who were siblings, and I would be like, "Oh, you're related to each other? You're so
Didn't
night
even
and day
realize it.
different. Yeah, you're so night and day different. You know, this one is the, you know, student society person. They're top of the class, doing everything they're supposed to do. Then the sibling, you know, has got the earrings, the change, the goth child sitting over in the dark. You know, the other one is all completely weird. And I was like, how does that happen? And
Lack
then
of parents.
when I
'Cause my kids couldn't leave the house
I'm not
like,
saying,
looking like that.
I'm not saying lack of parenting in that sense. I mean, because it was a whole lot of lack of parenting, but I'm not saying it in that sense. But I'm saying how two people can come up in the same household.
I'm a witness.
And it wasn't until I had my own two children. I have a son and a daughter who are fraternal twins, and I, to the best of my ability, thought I was pretty much the same parent as I could be. But again, they're two different people. Yeah. So there were certain things that I could speak on and say to my son, and he would get it right away. But then my daughter had to go approach it a different way, and vice versa. And even though I could lay it out the same way, if I'm doing math on this side with her and I'm doing the same math problem on this side with him, I might have been able to say, okay, you had these 3 apples and you add in 2 and you'll get to 5. But I might have had to actually do this for my son and count on fingers for him. You know, either way. So it's like, and the both of them have always done very well in school, but how my son was in school, he just wasn't interested. My daughter thrived in school, loved to go to school. My son was like, I could take it or leave it. You know, it wasn't his thing. So it's like, you can't sit here and pretend that you can put everybody in these little cute boxes and they will automatically just go along with how the structure is done. Because what school does is prepare you to go into another cubicle and it prepares you to keep going into boxes.
You know, it was a debate about that, and real quick, we had a debate about that in our school system, that we put these kids in a box and you teach everybody the same way. And just like you said, you can't do it.
You can't.
But in recent years, we went to
learned
Gardner's
at a different level.
Gardner's Learning Multiple Intelligences has been finally being taught over the last 14, 15 years, where each teacher's lesson plans has to include various methodologies for ingesting and learning. So if you got a spatial learner or a kinesthetic learner, or interpersonal learner, or a exterior learner, you know, we supposed to touch all those. In the old days, that's why they called people retarded. I mean, we was growing, we was brutal. But we found out even people with learning disabilities can still be functional and learn if we accept that and bring in methodologies to teach them.
Okay. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We had planned to talk about something completely different, but it just went into this. I really enjoyed this one. I sat back and listened and learned.
Yes.
And, you know, I hope you all did too. I'd like to thank my daughter who was firing it up
Yes.
today, Jeanette. I'd like to thank Leland Stein, co-host and sports analyst, and my main man Jeffrey Lowe.
And Uncle. And the Uncle.
And our little sippy sips to them.
56.
But everybody, we'd like to thank you all for listening, and stay tuned, and we'll be back again with another episode of The Hook.